Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter. I've been welcoming you to the 2012 Stone Cold Hockey Tournament. Every team is in play. There are two teams that will be getting spots to the Sweet 16 automatically. I don't know who. There's 14 matchups of teams to qualify for the Sweet 16, and then, best of 5, and then best of 7, quarters, semis, and finals. So, the 2012 Los Angeles Kings and the 2012 New Jersey Devils are there, and they both have to play. They both have to play in the preliminary round. So LA, who won the 2012 Cup in real life, they play Chicago, and Chicago wins 2-1. Crawford beats Quick. Kings got a goal, Kopitar from Foynoff and Alec Martinez. Chicago goes Brunette from Chalmerson and Hayes, and Ryan Bickle from Hossa and Chalmerson. Boston Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh beats Boston 5-3 as Brett Johnson beats Tuukka Rask. Big win. Pittsburgh, James Neal, Richard Park, Matt Cook, and Gino Malkin with a pair of goals for Pittsburgh. Boston, Nathan Horton, Benoit Pouliot, and Milan Lucic. Florida, Detroit. Game 1 sees Florida win 2-1 as Jose Theodore beats Jimmy Howard. Florida goals by Mike Santilleri and Chris Versteeg. And Hedrick Zetterberg for the Wings. Tampa, Philly. Tampa wins 4-2 as Garon beats Briskalov. So, big win for Tampa. Purcell with a pair of goals. Teddy Purcell, that is. Nate Thompson and Ryan Malone scoring. Claude Giroux and Eric Gustafson for Philly. Calgary, Ottawa. Calgary in overtime. Kipper beats Craig Anderson. Ottawa goals were scored by Phil Kuba and Dan Albertson. Calgary goals by Brandon Morrison. Weird to see a former Canuck in a Flame jersey. Mike Camilleri and Jerome McGinley. The overtime winner in 1925 from Backlund and Jokinen. Minnesota, Anaheim. Minnesota wins 2-1 as Backstrom beats Ellis. Minnesota goals by, was that Nate Johnson? And Devin Setaguchi. Anaheim, Bobby Ryan scoring. Rangers, Devils, the Battle of the Hudson in the first round, and the Rangers, Kachi. 4-3, Lundqvist beats Berger. Devil goals by Daniel Supers, David Clarkson, Kitchener, and Ilya Kovalchuk. Ranger goals by Brian Boyle, Murray Gabrick, Brian Richards, and Brendan Dubinsky. Dallas, Nashville. Dallas in overtime. Lettinen beats Trny. Nashville scored first on the goal by Craig Wilson. And then Michael Ryder in the third period. Then Fiddler on the roof for Fiddler from Gogolowski and Louis Erickson at 8:29. Vancouver for Canada. Overtime heroics. They win. Luongo beats Stanford. Do. Columbus goes by Wisniewski, Umberger, and Ryan Johansson. Burroughs, Yannick Hansen, Burroughs with 2, and then Andrew Alberts at minute 41 from Hansen and Higgins. Winnipeg, Edmonton, the Battle of Canada, and Edmonton wins 4-3. Dubnyk beats Pavlich. Winnipeg, the former Atlanta Thrashers. Edmonton winning goals by Eric Belanger, Ryan Whitney, Sam Gagner, and Ryan Smith. Evander Kane to Tanner Glass, and Evander Kane again for Winnipeg. Colorado, Carolina. 1-0 Carolina. Ward beat Jaguar. Justin Falk scoring the only goal of the game, assisted by Jeff Skinner. Kitchener. Toronto, how did the Leafs do? They lost 2-0 in Buffalo as Yo Zanroff shuts them out. Nathan Gerby and Kitchener. Derek Roy with the goal. Washington, Montreal, how did Montreal do? They lost 5-1 to Washington. Neuvirth beats Price. Only Montreal goal was Plekanec. A Washington goal like Joe Ward by Knubel, Alex Ovechkin, and Alex Simon. So Ovechkin scored. Crosby didn't. Oilers Phoenix, game 1 saw Phoenix win 3-2 as Mike Smith beats Nabokov. Phoenix goals by Rafi Torres, Gilbert Brule, Creme Brulee with 2 goals. Andy McDonough and Matt Molson scoring. Game 2, Boston-Pittsburgh. Boston wins to force a Game 3 back home. Tim Thomas beats Marc-Andre Fleury. Pittsburgh goes by Steve Sullivan, Chris Kunitz, and Craig Adams. Boston goes by Chris Kelly, David Krejci with 2, and Lucic with the empty netter. Detroit forces a Game 3 back in Florida, 5-2. Howard beats Theodore. Detroit, Hudler with 2 goals. Datsuk, Lidstrom, and Filipia with the other ones. Florida goes by Birkenheim and Wojciechowski, the Polish Prince. Game 2 for Tampa. They beat Philly 2-1. They're moving to the next round. Garon beats Briskalov. Ryan Malone and Brad Connolly for Tampa. Braden Shen for Philly. Calgary sweeps Ottawa 4-3 in overtime. Kiprusoff beats Ben Bishop, the 6'8" giant, I guess. Ottawa goes by Nick Foligno, Daniel Alfredson. Calgary goes by Curtis Glencross, Len Stevniak, Olin Jokinen, and in overtime, Jerome Aguila from Kostopoulos and Jokinen. Minnesota-Anaheim. Minnesota will sweep Anaheim. Josh Harding beats Jonas Hiller. Anaheim goes by Saku Koivu, Timu Solani, and Jason Blake. Minnesota goes by Eric Christensen, Clayton Stoner, Kyle Braziak, Miku Koivu, and Cal Clutterbuck. Rangers can't get the sweep in New Jersey. Lundqvist loses to Berger. Ranger goal by Derek Stepan, but the Devils goals hat-trick by Kovacic. It's Kovacic, what do you expect? It's Zach Parise. Dallas-Nashville, it will be Nashville. Smashville. With the 4-2 win, Rene beats Littinen. Dallas was up 2-0. Brandon Morrow and Louis Eriksson tried to sweep the preliminary round, but Hornquist, Ryan Ellis, Nick Spaulding, Kitchener, and Rowan Yossi scored for the Predators. Vancouver sweeps Columbus as Luongo takes down Steve Mason, Kitchener. Columbus go by Rick Nash, but Vancouver, Daniel Sedin, Max Lapierre, Dan Hamhughes, and Aaron Rome. Rome, do what the Romans do. Winnipeg beats Edmonton to force Game 3 back in Winnipeg. Pavlik beats Dubnyk. Winnipeg goes by Brian Little, Evander Kane, Andrew Ladd, and Brian Little again. Edmonton goes by Sam Gagner and Ryan Jones. Colorado goes into Carolina, win 4-1. Varlamov beats Ward. Not for Carolina, but Colorado goes Matthew Shane, Chuck Kobasu, and 2 goals by Derek Jones? Who's this Jones guy for Colorado? David Jones. Davy Jones Locker. Toronto, did they beat Buffalo? Yes, they did. Another shutout. Gustafson shuts them out. As Phil Kessel and Joey Krabs. I got crab meat. That's that. Washington sweeps Montreal 3-1. Foucault beats Budai. Montreal did score with Eric Cole. Didn't know he was a half. Troy Brouwer, Jason Chimera, and John Carlson scored for Washington. Phoenix sweeps the Islanders 3-1. Montoya loses to La Barbara. Michael Grabner scored for the Cupcakes, but Phoenix scored Radam Fabata, Keith Yandel, and Shane Doan. And Chicago, did they sweep? Yes, they did. They should sweep the Kings 6-4. Crawford beats Quick. The draw was just pitiful. Chicago, Kane, Hossa, Sharp again, Kane again, and Andrew Burnett scoring for the Hawks. Kings goes by Justin Williams, Drew Doughty, Jared Stahl, and Ansei Kopitar. So we have our fair share of Game 3s. Florida-Detroit. Florida won 5-1 to get in. Clemenson beats Conklin. That's a score for Detroit, but 2-0 too late. Miguel Samuelson, Sean Mathias, Sean Birkenheim, Christopher Stieg, and John Madden. Okay. For the Panthers. Rangers lose 3-2 to the Devils. Hedberg beats Baron. They went with the backups. Devils, Sikora, Kovacic, and Kitchener. David Clarkson with the winning goal. Oh man, Cutter, you're screwed. Del Sato and Gaborik for the Rangers, but still. Dallas 1-0 in overtime against Nashville to win. Raycroft beats Rene. And at 6:17, after 66 minutes, Jamie Benn from Michael Ryder finally scores a goal. Winnipeg Edmonton, the Battle of Canada, and Winnipeg will be the winners. Dubnyk loses to Pavlich. Winnipeg goes by Nick Anderproff, Andrew Ladd, and Mark Flood. Edmonton goes by Slavis Smead and Andy Sutton. Carolina, Colorado, and it will be Colorado winning 3-1 as Shigeru beats Ward. Colorado goes by David Jones, Paul Stastny, and Peter Mueller. Brandon Sutter for Carolina. Toronto, did they beat Buffalo? Yes, we did. 2-1. Scrivens beats Enroth. Man, tough series. Fanek scored for Buffalo, but in Toronto, 2 goals. Tyler Bozak and Joffrey Lupo. So the Leafs are moving on. Lovely. And the Bruins will move on, taking down Pittsburgh 6-2 as Rask took down Fleury. Malkin and Asham scored for Pittsburgh. I don't know if Crosby scored a goal in that series, but Boston, Marchand with 2. Chris Kelly, David Krejci, Kitcheners, Gregory Campbell, and David Krejci again. That should be all of them, right? Yep. All right, so here we go. Let's see here. San Jose actually got a bye. So San Jose had a bye, and so too did... No, Tampa made it. Tampa had it qualified, right? St. Louis, Chicago. I think St. Louis and San Jose were the teams that got the byes, right? Yep, St. Louis and San Jose got byes. St. Louis will play Chicago. San Jose will play Boston. Oh, man, Portland against his whole team. Phoenix will face Florida. Winnipeg, Washington, the battle of the W's. Minnesota, Vancouver. Toronto, Calgary. So we have a Canadian team in the quarterfinals guaranteed. Colorado, Tampa, and Dallas, New Jersey. All right, here we go. Winnipeg, Washington. Washington starts off fast in the best of 5. Cocoon beats Chris Mason, Joe Ward, Matt Hendricks, and Nick Backstrom scoring for Washington. Florida shuts out Phoenix 2-0 as Clemenson takes down Mike Smith. Sean Mathias and Jack Skilly for the Panthers. Boston takes down San Jose 3-1 as Thomas beats Niemi. Sharks scored Winchester, but Marchand Peverly and Ben Pouliot scoring for the Bruins. Vancouver beats Minnesota in Game 1 4-1 as Luongo took down Hackett. Matt Hackett, that is. Minnesota go by Setaguchi, by Raymond, Hendrik Sedin, Yannick Hansen, and Chris Higgins scoring for the Canucks. Leafs beat the Flames 6-1. Big win as Leland Irving lost to James Reimer, Optimus Prime. Calgary go by Michael Backlund, but Toronto goals. Joffrey Lupo, Carl Gunnison, Jake Gardner, Nikolai Kuhlman, Tim Connolly, and Phil Kessel. 6 different Leafs. Excuse me. Colorado beat Tampa 5-1 as Varlamov beats Garon. Purcell scored for Tampa, but Colorado goes Landeskog, Kitchener, Chuck Kovasu, Sean Elliott, Landeskog again, and Shane O'Brien. Dallas in overtime over New Jersey 3-2 in Game 1. Lettinen beats Brodeur. Devil goes by Taro Mina and Pankowski. Dallas goes by Ribeiro, Fiddler, and in overtime by Louis Erickson from Nystrom and Ribeiro. And St. Louis, Chicago. St. Louis wins 3-1 as Brian Elliott beats Ray Emery. Jonathan Taste did score for Chicago, but Oshie, Chris Russell, and Peter Angelo for the Blues. Game 2 sees Washington take a 2-0 series lead on Winnipeg 5-2. Holtby over Pavlich. Washington goes by Ovechkin. Well, Ovechkin had a hat trick. Chimera with 2. Winnipeg goals by Evander Kane and Alex Burmistrov. Phoenix beat Florida 3-2 in overtime, so they split the first 2. Mike Smith, Jose Theodore. Florida 2-0 on Michael Samuelson and Stephen Weiss's goals, but Phoenix scored 3 straight. Ekman Larson, Whitney, that's Ryan Whitney, no, Ray Whitney, and Shane Doan. And overtime from O'Reilly and Lankow. San Jose got revenge on Boston, winning in overtime. Niemi beats Thomas. San Jose goes by Couture and Marlowe in regulation. Bergeron and Horton for Boston, but in overtime, thanks to a Gregory Campbell penalty, Ryan Clough from Joe Forden and Joe Pavelski. Minnesota splits with Vancouver 3-2. Backstrom beats Luongo. Vancouver was up 2-0. Sedin and Burrows with the goals. But Minnesota got goals for Matt Cullen, Miku Koivu, and then Sediguchi. Toronto, Calgary. Calgary wins. They'll split with Toronto. Kiprusoff beat Reimer. Toronto goes by Tyler Bozak and Matt Fratton. Toronto Gila, Edward Bocek, and Alex Tanguay with 2 goals for the Flames. Tampa beat Colorado 2-1 to split their series. Sebastian Caron beat Sean Scare. Ryan Malone and Martin Saluti with the goals. Jamie Clement for Colorado. Dallas now has a 2-0 lead on New Jersey as Lehtinen beats Brodeur. Devils goes by Ilya Kovicek, his 6th. Ribeiro, Daly, Sheldon Surrey, and JB Benn, your heroes for Dallas. And finally, we have St. Louis taking a 2-0 lead on Chicago. Halak beats Crawford. Chicago goes by Jonathan Tays, Patrick Sharp, and Nick Leddy. St. Louis goes Matt D'Agostini, Patrick Berglund, TJ Oshie, and David Backus. So we have 1, 2, 3 potential sweeps. Sounds like Boston starts off our Game 3 coverage. Boston wins 2-1 as Thomas beats Niemi. They boo Fordham. Pavelski scored from Burns and Braun. John Caron for Boston from David Krejci. And then Tyler Seguin, the winner from Corville and Krejci. Minnesota beats Vancouver in Vancouver 4-1 as Luongo lost to Josh Harding. Canucks were up 1-0 after 2 Henrik Sedin. But Chad Wellman, Matt Cullen, Matt Koivu, and Kyle Brasiak scored for the Wild. Toronto Calgary Game 3 sees Toronto taking the 2-1 series lead as Reimer beats Kiprusoff. Leafs 4 goals. Lupo, Connolly, Steckel, and Matt Fratton. Nice job. Glenn Cross and Jokinen for Calgary. Colorado beat Tampa 5-2 in Game 3 as Varlamov beat Caron. Colorado goes by Jan Heda, Davy Jones, Heda again, Davy Jones again for 2, and Mueller his 2nd. Tampa goes by Le Cavalier, purple goals. Dallas will not get the sweep. They lose 1-0. Brodeur over Bachman. Darius Subres, the only goal from Zach Parise. St. Louis will not sweep. Chicago with the shutout. Crawford beats Elliott. Tays, Stallberg, Burnett, and Bullitt. Going for the Hawks. Washington will sweep 7-3. Neuberg beats Pavlich, so Washington takes out Winnipeg. Winnipeg goes by Brian Little, Evander Kane, while he had 6. Washington goes by Alex Ovechkin, Mike Green, Troy Bauer, Matthew Perreault, Nick Backstrom, and Brooks Lake, and Carl Osner. Phoenix, Florida tied the series, and Phoenix breaks the tie. La Barbara beats Clemenson. Phoenix goes by Korpikowski, Torres, and Verbata. Sean Mathias and Fleischman for Florida. So lots of series. So only one series ended in the 3-game sweep. Vancouver wins 5-0. Schneider with the shutout against Backstrom. That forces Game 5 back in Minnesota. Higgins, Burles, Bieksa, Burles, and Laperriere with the goals for the Canucks. Toronto beats Calgary 3-1. Renas beats Kiprusoff. So Toronto's in the quarterfinals. Yay. Calgary go by Glenn Cross, but Lupo with one. Grabowski finally pops up with 2 goals, and the Leafs win. Tampa's forced to Game 5 with Colorado. Garon with a shutout. St. Louis and Stamkos with the goals. New Jersey beat Dallas 4-1. Forced Game 5 back in Dallas. Brodeur beat Lehtinen. Dallas goal by Michael Ryder. Devils goals by Zach Parise, Travis Zajac, David Clarkson, Kitchener, and Adam Henrique. And St. Louis will not get the series against Chicago. They lose again 4-0 as Emery beat Halak. So St. Louis could not score a goal in Chicago. Tays, Burnett, Bickle, and Kane were the heroes for the Hockeys. Florida beats Phoenix to force Game 5 back in Phoenix. Clemenson beats Smith. Michael Samuelson scored for the Panthers in the 3rd. Phoenix tied it up, Ekman Larson, but Thomas Kopecky at 249 from first tee. And finally, we have Boston taking down San Jose 4-0. as Thomas beat Niemi. Shutout Puglia, Corvo, Krejci, and Chara. Your heroes for Boston. So we have 3 game 5s. Colorado, Tampa. About 10 years too early for the rivalry to happen. And it will be Colorado with the shutout. Shiger with the job there. Davy Jones, O'Brien, McClement, and yes, Kitcheners. Gabe Landeskog. Dallas, New Jersey. And the Devils, in overtime, take down Dallas. They were down 2-0, but they won the series. Berger beat Lehtinen. Dallas was up 2-0 in the game. Ryder and Morrow. But Sajak with a pair of goals. Dallas made Eriksson. Zach Parise tied it up. And in overtime, at 3:27, Patrick Elias, the old veteran from Henrique. Chicago beat St. Louis 2-0. So, wow. St. Louis didn't score one single goal in the final 3 games. And Crawford got the shutout this time. Bolin with both goals. Man, how bad was that? St. Louis not only blew a 2-0 series lead, they freaking didn't score one goal. Unbelievable. Wish we had stats on that. Phoenix, Florida. Phoenix with the win in overtime on home turf. Mike Smith beat Jose Theodore. Phoenix was up 3-0. Ray Whitney, Laurie Kopkowski, and Boyd Gordon scored, but then Florida got Versteeg, Weiss, and Skilly being the hero. But Patrick O'Sullivan at 3:06 from Hansel and Verbata. Verbatim Verbata. And did Vancouver join Toronto as the only Canadian teams in the quarterfinals? No. Minnesota wins on home turf. Backstrom beat Schneider. Vancouver goals by Alex Burrows and Yannick Hansen. Minnesota goals by Mika Koivu and 2 by Danny Heatley. Forgot he played for Minnesota. So Toronto's the only Canadian team in the quarterfinals. And they get Phoenix. Okay. Washington, Boston, Minnesota, Colorado, and Chicago, New Jersey. Minnesota, Colorado starts our quarterfinals, and Colorado wins 4-2. J.S. Shiga beats Backstrom. Colorado goes by Matt Oliver, Jamie McGinn again, and Paul Stastny. Minnesota goes by Nick Johnson and Marc Bouchard. Game 1 for Washington, they beat Boston 4-3 in overtime. Foucault beats Rask. Boston goes by Patrice Bergeron, Johnny Boychuk, and Tyler Seguin. Washington goes in regulation, Marcus Johansson, Brooks Lake, Troy Bauer. And in overtime at 35 seconds, Dennis Weidman took a shot from the point. Score from Carlson and Ovechkin. Ovechkin's been quiet with goal scoring. Phoenix beats up on Toronto 5-2 as McElhaney beats Reimer. Toronto goes by Tim Connolly and... Was it Tim? Yeah. And Joffrey Lupo. Phoenix goes by Ran Verbata, Ray Whitney, Taylor Pyatt, and Rafi Torres. Chicago beats New Jersey 3-2 as Crawford beat Hedberg. For league scored, Kovacic, his goal finally broke Chicago's drought. So 188 minutes without giving up a goal for the Blackhawks goalies. Daniel Subers made a 2-1 for the Devils, but Kane and Tays scored for the Blackies. Game 2. Washington wins. They're up 2-0. Foucault beats Risk. Washington goes by Ovechkin, Brouwer, and Matt Perreault. Bergeron and Seidenberg for Boston. Game 2 saw Toronto shut out Phoenix 2-0 as Reimer did his job against La Barbara. Phil Casso with both goals. Finally, he's putting up some goals. Chicago's up 2-0 in their series, 4-3 as Emery beats Purdue. Devils goals by Ryan Carter, Ilya Kovalchuk, and Zach Parise. Chicago goals, David Bolin, Chalmerson, Victor Stolberg, and Brett Seabrook. And finally, we have Colorado win 2-1. They're up 2-0. Varlamov beat Harding. Landeskog, Kitchener, and Mueller for Colorado. Heatley for Minnesota. So 3 series are at 2-0, and 1 series is at 1-1. We'll do Phoenix Toronto game 3 next, and it will be Phoenix winning 3-1. Round score. Phoenix wins. Smith beats Gustafson. Toronto goal by Clark MacArthur. Try to make it stand by Phoenix in the third period. Derek Morris, Ron Fabata, and Damon Lakow. Devil Dogs won 3-2 over Chicago, so they won a game. Brodeur beats Crawford. Ilias, Parise, and Boland, your heroes. No, sorry, not Boland. Kovacic. Boland scored both goals for Chicago. Minnesota wins in Colorado to make it a series. Harding beats Jaguar. Minnesota goes by Pierre-Marc Bouchard, Mika Koivu, Devin Sitaguchi, Kyle Brodziak, and Danny Heatley. Colorado goals by Duchesne, Czech Kovasu, and Eric Johnson. And Boston for the issue 3-2 win. Thomas beats Neuvert. Marchand and Lucic in regulation. Semin and Lack for Washington. Overtime 13:05. Harden from Campbell, Kitchener, and Corvo. So every series is at 2-1. Chicago beat New Jersey 4-3. They are inches away from going to the semifinals. Crawford beats Brodeur. Letty, Tays, Bickle, and Marcus Kruger for Chicago. Devil goes by Subris, and Kovacic. Colorado wins. They're now 1 win away. 4-1. Jaguar beats Harding. Paul Stastny, Milan Hajduk, Ryan O'Reilly, and Jamie Clement for the Avs. Cal Clutterbuck for the Wild. Boston wins 4-1, so they won their games on home ice. Thomas beats Pucun. Bergeron, Krejci, Bergeron, and Pouliot for Boston. And what Pouliot's been on fire. Ovechkin is 7th for Washington. And finally, we have Toronto losing. Phoenix looks like they're going to take care of Toronto. Smith beats Gustafson. Verbata, Ekman Larson, Verbata with the hat trick, and Shane Doan. Verbata's looking good with goals. Connolly and Grabowski for the Leafs. Every series, one series is at 2-2. Washington, Boston, and Boston beat Washington. Ross beats Pucun. Washington was up 2-0. Joe Ward and Ovechkin had scored, but Boston came running back. Benoit Pouliot, Joe Corvo, and Lan Lucic. Minnesota beat Colorado 5-2, so they force at Game 6. Harding beats Varlamov. Brodziak, Cullen, Heatley, Setaguchi, and Clutterbuck with the goals for Minnesota. Kitchener, Gabe Landeskog his 5th, and McClement scored for the Avs. Phoenix closes out Toronto 3-1. Click on the right one. As Gustafson lost to Smith. Bozak scored for Toronto, but it was not enough as Taylor Pyatt, Shane Doan, and Ryan Whitney scored for the Coyotes. So the Coyotes are in the semifinals, as they were in real life, and Chicago in the semifinals. I scored 5-2 as Ray Emery beats Martin Brodeur. So the finalists are out. David Bolin, Steve Monador, Jonathan Tays, Marcel Marion holds at David Bolin for Chicago. Clarkson, Kitchener, and Parise. The Devil Dogs. So Colorado and Boston trying to join them. Colorado wins 6-1 to go to the Final Four. Varlamov beats Hackett. Latondres scored for Minnesota, but that's not enough as Paul Stastny, Davy Jones, Chuck Kovasu, Sean Elliott, Gabe Landeskog, Kitchener, and Ryan O'Reilly for the Avalanche. And Washington's forced to Game 7 back home, winning 2-1 in Boston. Brian Rolston, the old veteran, scoring, but then Brooks Light and Alex Ovechkin putting on a goal fest. Game 7, personally, I think it's Washington. I'm wrong. Boston wins 3-2 as Thomas beat Neuvert. Washington did score Matt Pearl and Nick Backstrom, but Chris Kelly, Patrice Bergeron, and Nathan Horton, the winners. So it's Boston, Colorado, Chicago, Phoenix. Semifinals sees Boston and Colorado going toe-to-toe. Phoenix and Chicago will go toe-to-toe in the other semifinal. I know Phoenix got to the Final Four. Boston lost in the first round. Colorado, I don't know how they did in 2012. I know Chicago lost to Phoenix in the first round in 2012. So we'll see what happens. First game sees Colorado on top 5-3. Varlamov beats Thomas. As Lucic, Bergeron, and Lucic for Boston. Colorado goes by Duchesne, O'Reilly, Jones, Duchesne, and Kyle Porter. Davy Jones has 8 goals. Game 1 and the other one sees Chicago beat Phoenix 5-2 as Crawford beats LaBarbera. Phoenix goes by Michael Roosevelt, Keith Yandel. Patrick Sharp scored in the first period, and it looked like Phoenix was going to have it, but 4 goals. Victor Stahlberg with a natural hat trick. and Andrew Burnett. Game 2 saw Phoenix with a shutout win to split the first 2 games. Smith beat Crawford. Taylor Pyatt is your hero. Game 2 sees Colorado win in overtime. Shigeru beats Thomas. Lucic, Horton, and Lucic scored for Boston. McClement, Landeskog, Kitchener. Landeskog his 8th. And in overtime, Jared McGinn his 3rd from Johnson and Landeskog. Can Colorado keep the momentum? The answer is yes. On home turf, they're up 3-0. Farlow beats Rask. So Boston goes by Seguin and Chara. Colorado goes by Porter, Paul Stastny, Sean Elliott, Matt Hundwick, and Davy Jones is 9th. In the other semifinal, it is Phoenix who will jump up to the 2-1 lead as LaBarbera beats Crawford. Phoenix 4 goals, Ryan Whitney with 2, Dode and Torres with the other ones. Chicago goes by Sharp, Hossa, and Taze. Game 4 sees Phoenix win, and they're looking confident. 6-3. Smith beats Emery. Phoenix goes by Korpikoski with 2. Verbata, Miguel Bodker, Kitchener, Verbata, and Korpikoski. Korpikoski with a hat trick. Nice. Chicago goes by Bickle, Boland, and Stahlberg. And Colorado will not score a goal, yet they can't win the game. Rask with the shutout. Caron, Krejci, Sagan, Pouliot, Horton, and Lucic, all with the goals for the Brew Crew. Game 5 sees Colorado snake it out. 3-1. Farlow beats Thomas. Sagan scored for Boston, but Colorado goal. Kitchener's own Gabe Landeskog with Duchesne and Milan Hayduk, the old veterans, sinking it, and Colorado's in the final. And we have Phoenix beat Chicago 3-2 as Crawford gets beaten by LaBarbera. So Phoenix is in the final against Colorado. Doan with 2 goals and Martin Hansel the winning goal. Chicago goes by Hossa and Stahlberg. Personally, I don't know who I put in 3rd place, Boston or Chicago. But I might go with Boston. And you know what? I'll go with Boston. I'll give Boston, because Boston was the only Eastern Conference team left. I'm going to be smart and give Boston the 3rd place vote. I know they lost in the first round. So did Chicago. I think I made the right decision. I just want to look at Boston and Chicago. Like, did I make the right decision? Chicago was 10-7 overall. They actually had to fight St. Louis off in the round of 16. And Boston was 10-9. So they actually had to fight off Washington and Pittsburgh. So, yeah, well, I think I made the right decision. So Colorado or Phoenix, who are the 2012 champions? Game 1, we'll see Colorado 2-1 as Farlow beat LaBarbera. Mueller and Kobasu for Colorado with the goals. Shane Doan for Phoenix. Oh, I forgot to preview the 2 teams. So Colorado, Simon Farlow now 9-3. Shigeru's 5-3. He hasn't won 6-7 goals against average. Yeah, his win percentage is close. Colorado had to beat Carolina in the preliminaries. It was a close one. They had to face Tampa in a winner-take-all. So that's 2. Then Minnesota almost gave them a winner-take-all before they took out Boston easily. Phoenix has Mike Smith, Jason LaBarbera, and Curtis McElhaney. Smith's 8-2 with 1-6 goals against. They swept the others in the preliminary round. They had to go to a playoff final game against Florida. Then they took care of Toronto and Chicago quite easily. Game 2 sees Phoenix win 2-1. Smith beats Farlow, Landeskog, Kitchener with his 10th. Doan his 9th. And in overtime, Damien Lankow with Landeskog in the box puck from Ryan Whitney and Keith Yendo. Game 3 sees Phoenix win 2-0. Smith beats Shigeru. Lankow and Yando are the heroes for the Coyotes. Game 4 sees Phoenix again with a shutout as Smith gets back-to-back shutouts. Verbata and Torres, your heroes. Poor Colorado. Looks like Phoenix is going to win this series. And they do, 3-2. So Phoenix are your champions. And they went to the semifinals, that I know. So they might get a decent seeding. La Barbara beats Varlamov. Colorado goes by Oliver and Duchesne, but the Phoenix, the winners, Rafi Torres, Ekman Larson, and Ray Whitney is the overtime hero from Torres, who finally scores an assist. And Phoenix wins the series. So that's the Phoenix. Mike Smith 11-2 with a 1.33 goals against, 3 shutouts. Unbelievable. La Barbara 5-3, McEnany 1-0. But yeah, Phoenix took care of the Islanders, Panthers, Leafs, Hawks, and Avalanche. After that winner take all against Florida, it was just easy for them. Phoenix was roaring. Ray Whitney put up 25 points to lead the team. Verbata 23, Jones 16. Verbata had 10 goals. He only got in double digits. Bodker, Hansel, Boyd Gordon, Derek Boris, Patrick O'Sullivan, and Michael Roosevelt, the only goal scored with 1 goal. So yeah, so Phoenix did their job and wins the 2012 tournament. So there. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.